A very good evening to you and welcome to this week's election debate. My name is Vuyo Mvogo. The battle for the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro is what tonight's debate is about. 120 seats are up for grabs, and as things stand currently, the Metro, the DA I should say, is the biggest party with 57 seats, followed by the ANC, which has 50 seats. The EFF comes a distant third with 6 seats, followed by the UDM with 2. Representing their respective political parties in this debate, we have Ngababanga, who is the current mayor, and from the ANC we have the party's regional task team coordinator Luyolo Ngagula. Zanele Mali is from the EFF, and the UDM is represented by Luxolo Namete, who is currently the deputy mayor in the city. Welcome to all of you. Thanks very much for coming through.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm going to start with, I'm going to give each one of you a minute and a half to make your opening remarks, starting with you, Mr. Bang.
The Nelson Mandela municipality is in safe hands now. You can see I'm smiling after I've bared a period of governance of the ANC, where they collapse everything brick by brick. They collapse systems. You'll remember that in 2019, more than 21 people were assassinated because of a looting in a grain tender scandal. People died because the ANC put its hands in the pockets of the tender system. We have 52 companies right now who misused and who are being investigated by the SIU for 100 million rand in PPEs, and those actions are taken. The ANC did not have consequences for corruption here in Nelson Mandela. They didn't even have a single contract, just this contract for globes. I'm so happy the DA-led coalition with the UDM, COPE, and the ACDP have run this city better. The stability, National Treasurer is saying it, I'm not saying it. The Deputy Minister and the Ministers in Finance, in COGTA, and the provincial government is confirming that we've performed better than what they've done. Their performance is 36% in the annual review, and which they've collapsed everything. We can't let them run this city again. This city will become Buzzarworth, a Queenstown. They will put one long fence and name it a stadium and give it a price tag called the 15 million rand. That's how the ANC governs.
Mr. Magula?
Thanks, Vuyo. Residents of Nelson Mandela since 2016 have been subjected to a collapse of service delivery. Our people have humbled us as the African National Congress. They have communicated a particular message to us, which has led to us self-correcting as an organization and introducing a new dispensation of processes to select our own candidates. Currently now, the candidates which we have as the ANC are candidates which are a product of a popular process in communities. Now, the ANC, since 2016, has never led any coalition. The coalitions which have existed in Nelson Mandela Bay, it has been the DA-led coalition. The second coalition has been a coalition which was led by the UDM under then Executive Mayor Mongameli Bobani, may his soul rest in peace. Thereafter, it was Chonono Puye of the AIC who was the executive mayor or the acting executive mayor of the municipality. This is a metro municipality, a metropolitan municipality, wherein there is executive authority vested in the office of the mayor. So no one should adjudicate a responsibility of providing an account for their office. So the ANC, communities, residents alike, are not ready in Nelson Mandela for a coalition government. It has resulted in a collapse of service delivery. And our people are quite clear that it's the ANC which has got a history of governing in Nelson Mandela. It is the ANC which has got a track record of delivering over 40,000 housing units. It is the DA-led coalition which has got a track record of delivering only 27 units in Nelson Mandela. So our people want the African National Congress back, not the smaller parties which have no governance history for you.
Ms. Mali?
All right, as the economic freedom fighters, we're saying to the residents of the Nelson Mandela Bay, you've given the ANC about 27 chances to actually bring service delivery to the people. What have they done? Delivered nothing. We've got DA, who looks after the white people while the black poor suffer and continue to live in ruins in our communities. So what are we saying? We're saying it's about time we took ourselves seriously. We took our legacy, we took our metro seriously. And entrusted the economic freedom fighters. We've got a lot of young people, a lot of potential, a lot of young people that want to succeed, that want to achieve things for this metro, and that want to look out for the generations to come. So I'm saying, entrust us with leading, entrust us with bringing a change, because with only 6 councillors, as you had mentioned, in this metro, we were able to bring about motions of enforcement, for instance, and we managed to actually get that passed with only 6 councillors. And you would say, with the majority of the DA and the ANC, we already were at a back foot. However, we managed to get that done. So since 2016, we've had the DA going through. They haven't done anything, really. They've only kept the white areas clean. Your summer strands, you'll hardly ever find a paper. However, when you go to Walanga in Utenek, you'll find that there's a dumpster that hardly ever gets picked up. So I'm saying, seriously, take us serious. We are here, we're bringing about change. We're young, we're hungry, and we will deliver. This is not a promise, but a commitment from the EFF.
Mr. Nametse?
No, thanks very much, Vuyo. But this is what we are saying as a UTM, that we are going to put people first to bring dignity, prosperity to the people of Nelson Mandela. The people have mandated us to bring stability in Nelson Mandela. Number 2, we are serious in fighting crime and corruption in this city, as we did in previously. You have seen that in the Department of Supply Chain, where ANC was causing chaos there, the department now is stable. The city, there was no stability before. We've managed to stabilize the city. And also, when we took over as a UTM in the Department of Electricity and Energy, we have seen that there's quite a lot of changes, and we've managed to formalize the informal settlements that are around the Nelson Mandela Metro. And as we speak at the moment, we have electrified more than 80% of the informal settlement, and we will continue to say that let's formalize even churches that are informal, so that there could be a peace in the city. We are saying that after the 1st of November, when we are going to take over, we are going to change the city to be a smart city. And also, as a UTM, we have introduced what is called an electricity amnesty.
Is up, unfortunately. Mr. Banga, you are being asked to account for the time that you have been in charge as the DA. Account. What have you done?
There have been a very clear blue water between when the DA was governing in 2016 the city and what the ANC chaos did here. When we governed, we were able to stabilize. When we took over the city, was the second West not trusted city under the ANC government in this country. When we took over government, we made sure that we stabilized. We became the second most trusted city in rating agents. We improve and stabilize good governance under Ethel Trollip in the city. We made this city a construction site for all South Africans. The DA, when it governs for colored communities, for Indian communities, for white communities, and for black communities.
What did you build?
We built roads. We electrify, as the councillor of the UDM is saying, informal settlements. We did not promote inland invasion. We're responsible. We allocated people in areas where they are supposed to build houses. The chaos the ANC and the EFF have done in KwaMaxake will not happen here. I've stopped it even now, any land invasion here. Because they always say they stand for black people. They're killing the property value of black people who fought for themselves and worked for themselves hard in KwaMaxake and Swartkops Valley. And they're building informal settlements and saying they're fighting for black people. That's not how you fight black people. You put people in proper informal settlement. Under an ANC government, they did not build even one single house. We lost 500 million rand for housing because of their HDA. We have a president who comes here and not tell the truth and say we did not, but he took the function of building houses away, and his HDA, the president, couldn't even build one single house in this. Mr.
You've heard the allegations that are being leveled that you
must tell the truth.
You have no a proud record to speak of.
Well, Vuyo, that is quite a fallacy, you know. I never knew that the mayor has such an overactive imagination. What I'll just speak around is the question of facts. The reality is that when our image was subdued and we lost control of Nelson Mandela Bay in 2016, in terms of the rating agencies, we had a very good rating with regards to rating agencies. That's the first fact, Vuyo. The second fact is that when the DA-led coalition took over in 2016, it was Mr. Banga next to me who was MMC for Human Settlements. Now, if he possessed any type of comprehension around the directorate which he was deployed in, he would know the fact that, one, the question of HDA was as a consequence of an intervention by both the provincial, national and national governments due to rampant corruption which was prevalent in that particular directorate. That's the first fact. The second fact around the question of housing delivery in Nelson Mandela Vuyo, the second issue
happened for more than 24 years under an ANC
in Nelson Mandela Vuyo
that's why
is the fact that
took over
there has been a non-cooperation from the municipality under his stewardship and his leadership as MMC.
Okay, let him finish.
So if there's anyone who must take any form of responsibility, it is Mr. Banga right here next to me, because he was MMC. If Mr. Banga had possessed any type of knowledge around what human settlements encompasses, he would know that it is the responsibility of a municipality, one, to deal with the question of the identification of sites, to deal with the question of planning, and the responsibility of a provincial government is to ensure that there is budget availability. So that particular responsibility which the local sphere was supposed to discharge never happened, and it was a collapse which was militated under his leadership and that of the DA-led
So you
coalition.
slept on the job?
No.
He slept.
The best city that have developed sites in South Africa is the Nelson Mandela municipality.
Under which trajectory?
More than 7,500
under which
sites
trajectory?
were developed here.
Ask him under which trajectory.
Well, he's listening. He can answer.
Mr. Ngakula must tell you the truth.
When?
Sisulu in 2015 arrived here and took the function, the DA government in 2016, and took the function of housing because the ANC Human Settlement Department was the most corrupt. They couldn't act against one single official. This mayor, Ngabapang, all the officials they were scared of have acted against them this year. The contractors where they were appointing 41 friends have dismissed that. We've appointed 345
You
in
must
contract
ask him
as
under
we
which
speak
strategy.
right now.
You see, what is quite clear from Ngaba here?
Mr. Ngakula, in this province, under the ANC government, more than 350 million rand have been taken by national government because they couldn't deliver through HDA one single house. HDA is run by the national government, it's not run by local government. That's what Mr. Ngakula can do to deliver nothing.
I need to bring you in. Ms. Mali, because just to stay with housing a little bit. He says you guys are being disruptive. They're trying to do something for the black people. You are saying they, as the DA, are not servicing. This is throwing it back at you, saying you are the ones who are actually standing in the way of progress. You're being disruptive.
You know, as I've been watching both the DA and the ANC going at it, I'm thinking, in isiXhosa we say, "Sibukelo xam bephaqulana," because right now there literally is no accountability that I'm seeing from both the leadership. However, to address your question, or rather the comment made that we are the ones that are unruly, that are actually devaluing housing, I don't understand how it begins to be a devalue when we instill dignity in people. We need to understand that the question of land, when one owns a piece of land, then it becomes, it's a sense of dignity, it's a sense of ownership, it's something valuable. However, what we are saying is that you want to look after the interests of the rich, you want to look after the interests of those that are privileged at the expense of the poor. What we are saying as the EFF is that if we were in power, actually when we are in power within this metro, we are going to do audits. We're going to look at who owns what within this municipality, because as I understand, there have been evictions that are actually orders for evictions within the Bayland community that is actually close to Kwamakaki. And we're actually looking into that because we're going to be assisting those residents. And if it means that we are not going to say people should stay under power lines, we're not going to say people should stay in land that is actually registered to other people, but that which is the land of the municipality and that has no one else owning that land or has not been utilized, because you'll find that this land for 27 years that most probably is owned by a particular person but never utilized. Why is it not being utilized? Why do we have land free and standing while our people need houses, while our people need land, while our people need shelter? So those are the things we are saying. We're speaking against the fact that there's unoccupied land while our people do not have the dignity, do not have roof over their heads, do not have land, and land is ours. We are going for it and all of it.
Yeah, I mean, you are his deputy in terms of the coalition agreement that you have. You are now the deputy mayor, and previously, your own comrade, the late was the mayor of this city for a while. Give us your perspective, in particular, around the issue of housing. Look, what is your own appraisal of the housing situation in the metro?
Look, Vuyo, we must first appreciate that we are in this mess because of the ANC. Because before you put people or you tell people that they must go and invade land, you must first service the land. Yes. There must be a process, Vuyo. We are not saying that our people must not get land. We are saying that our people must get land, but there must be a process plan before you put them on that particular land. You see, Vuyo, what the ANC has done in that Department of Human Settlement, it was total shamed, because what they did, they totally collapsed that department. You know that where you sit there, that a lot of people are crying that the councillors of the ANC sold their RDP houses. And we know that they build house today and tomorrow they demolish that house because of the standard of that house. So we are saying that there must be a process plan before you say people that they must. So there must be a coordination.
Was that executive authority, Vuyo?
Well, he says, the ANC says you had executive authority when Mongameli Bobani was in charge. He also says that Ngababanga was the MMC for human settlements at some point, and he did nothing.
Vuyo, under the coalition, you see the same behavior that Ungakula is doing now is the same behavior that he was doing inside that coalition that was led by the UTM, which was the mayor. That coalition didn't work because of the populism of the ANC. ANC have a tendency of becoming a big brother in the coalition. That's why that coalition didn't work, because they always want to manipulate everyone.
That's why the coalition didn't work.
So you...
I can qualify.
You're suggesting, or what you've just said suggests that you have a completely different experience under the leadership of the DA.
Exactly, Vuyo. We are working well with the DA, and also what we have discovered is that the DA, Vuyo, we've taken a decision to say, DA, you respect you respect other parties. All parties are equal when we enter in the coalition. That's why this coalition is.
When was this? When Athol Trollip was in charge, because you're dealing with the same party. What happened there? Because Mongameli Bobani and Athol Trollip didn't get along.
Well, Vuyo, I must.
And apparently the two of you are getting along now. So what happened?
We are getting along because we are sharing same vision to say, this is not about us. Let's put people first. This is about servicing the people of Nelson Mandela. That's why we are here in City Hall. That is the mission, to put people first. Not to put our interest first. No. It's about the residents of Nelson Mandela.
Ms. Mali, as an outsider looking in, what are you seeing between the DA and the UDM in terms of that relationship, in terms of whether this coalition is indeed delivering?
No, what I'm looking at here is the fact that the UDM neither wants to lose out on the voters of the DA, and neither does the DA want to lose out of the voters of the ANC and that of the UDM. In this coalition government, we need to be honest, there isn't much service delivery that happens when there is a coalition. There needs to be an outright government, which is why we are saying as the EFF, we're not considering coalition. When we are going out to our voters, we're saying that we want to take it all. We want to take this metro because it has failed.
But if the voters don't give you, like any of you, an outright majority, what is then wrong with 2, 3, 4, however many parties deciding to club together? And from the testimonies of these two gentlemen, it's working. you can't falter that. What is important
But how is it
for services
working?
to be delivered.
For
isn't
me,
it?
how is it working? Because we still have service delivery protests within the metro.
Well, they say it isn't working. You can tell us that it's not working.
It isn't working at all, because we'd then be saying our people are happy and satisfied within the metro if it was working, because we're looking at the mayor here. At the moment, his own political party has chosen to distance themselves with some of the things that happened with the mayor. And had he gone ahead and also showed an example, then we'd be saying the UDM and other political parties would be behind him. We wouldn't protest if we were saying that the black people, which are marginalized and have been previously marginalized, are covered within this coalition government that they are professing to have, which is the UDM and the DA.
Well,
so we're not getting
you
anything
see-
as the black
you
people.
see, Vuyo,
So
you-
we continue to be
EFF
oppressed.
EFF
So with the
thinks
oppression that the
black
DA
people do
continues
not
to
have
put on
eyes.
poor people,
have eyes
that's what they say. The
because they
UDM
can-
says
they
it's
can
fine.
see,
No.
Kwanomuhle, that we're building a road. It's black people's road. They can see Warisa facing a road in Motherwell. And people must not fool our people.
No, quite clearly the mayor
our-
has
Exactly.
a comprehension of what economic development is.
Yes.
our people
Because
do
he
not
made a bold statement in his opening remarks that Nelson Mandela is a construction site. There has not been any catalytic project which has happened under their tenure of leadership. Any catalytic interventions which have happened in the metro have been as a consequence of interventions of the ANC provincial governments. We're speaking about the transport port terminal, its migration and its location here in Nelson Mandela. We're speaking about Kucha
Vuyo,
and the investments. Let's speak facts
maybe
here,
then-
Vuyo.
maybe-
We'll speak facts here, Vuyo. Mr. Panga must not come here not to adjudicate the responsibility. There's a water crisis currently in Nelson Mandela Bay.
Exactly.
We are on day zero.
Exactly.
It has been the African National Congress pre-2016 and consistently during this term of council which has championed the question of a desalination power plant. The mayor would not have a comprehension or understanding of that because
what you need
he's
to
just a
understand- what you
passenger
need
in
to
this vehicle of
understand-
running this city. He possesses no rudimentary
face.
understanding.
The
He's
ANC
just a face.
the
There are
ANC
white people behind him who control him.
Exactly.
The desalination plant issue was championed by the African National Congress. The mayor must come here and dispute me. The second issue, the question of the National Treasury turnaround strategy, was a question which was raised and championed by the African National Congress around when there had been a withholding of an equitable
Vuyo must
share
not be told lies
of funds, Vuyo,
here are
which
the
was
people
championed
who
by the
have stolen 20
UDM. By the
billion
way,
rand.
it was the
They've
UDM which was at the
stolen
center of
20
that.
billion
It was the
rand in the
motions of the
IPTF.
EFF which
Right.
led to that. It was the ANC which
officials
championed that
of the
particular resolving
ANC
council. So they must not come here.
Pulling
Let's cool down a little bit
Let's
and
move
give
on.
each
We'll-
other
I'm saying let's
a
move on.
chance
This is
to
what we are
speak.
talking about.
Okay, we're going to take a quick ad break so that you can calm down a little, and then we're going to restart all over again because this debate continues right after this short ad break. Don't go away. Debate is around about the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan Municipality. Let's start again and pick up on the one of the issues we're talking about before we went to break, and that's the question of water. Day zero he was talking about. It's been a problem for years, and the situation seems to be getting worse instead of getting better. What is your analysis of where the problem is, number one? Number two, what have you done in the time that you have been in charge as the DA to deal with this
Thank
crisis?
you, Vuyo. It's a very important question. The problem, firstly, we must all be responsible. We have faced with a drought problem. That's the first one. Our dams are 12.5%. That's the first problem we have. We have a backlog of 20 billion rand in underground infrastructure. That since 1994, the ANC have never maintained the underground infrastructure of the city. We only budgeted for that underground infrastructure in 2016 for the first half. Now, when there's a best, we are able to have a team to deal with that backlog. They've never done that. You know it yourself. Go to the provincial hospital. There's not even a budget for maintenance in the provincial and national government for old buildings in the ANC government. That's the truth. They don't understand and value maintenance. That's why we're in this crisis. The second one, they put us in crisis now. That's why yesterday I wrote to the Minister of Water. The Matole water entity has not been able to finish phase 3 of the Norgedag Dam, which could contribute 210 megaliters. And I've written to them that that's nonsense. Because when the DA was governing here, phase 1 and phase 2 was developed by us in a right time frame. That minister Nongonyane took everything and gave it to Amator, and I've written to them. They are expanding it over December. It's the ANC government. That's why I made them account. I can tell you that I've requested the national government to bring in an engineer. Dr. Geisler is here to assist us, because I've asked the national department to come, because we're not scared to get help from professional individuals. We are doing something. I'm connecting a pipeline on the 23rd for Kwanobuti. They couldn't budget for it. I budgeted when I entered, shifted money. 1/3 of the money of the budget goes for water infrastructure. Therefore, I'm happy we have an augmentation plan that we're doing. These ones, if you give them water, I think they will break everything.
It's partly your fault. Yes, I mean the city is facing this crisis because of drought, but you never invested in infrastructure maintenance.
Well, Vuyo, I think let's clarify a few issues. Let me start by the sweeping statements that the mayor was making around question of Livingston Hospital. There'll be no budget for maintenance of buildings. I do not know which Port Elizabeth which the mayor lives in, but he would know that it has been the provincial government which recently refurbished and renovated Mbilweni TP Hospital. It refurnished and refurbished Livingston Hospital and Provincial Hospital. So I don't know he's a mayor of which metro if he does not know what is going on, and he would not possess that understanding, because part of running an effective government becomes the question of intergovernmental relations. Because around the question of the water crisis, the mayor must clarify it has been as a consequence when Minister Sisulu was still responsible for human settlements and sanitation. That intervention was an intervention made because of a correspondence which was written to council by the caucus of the African National Congress, not the Democratic Alliance, and there was an intervention. And there was a team which came here to insulate the team of the municipality because there's incapacity. They have not stabilized the administration. There are no skilled people in those particular directorates. And the third element here, Vuyo, is that the question, for instance, of the desalination plant, outside of the question of water, Vuyo.
Let him finish.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
No, but we're not stopping you. And if you
protect me, Vuyo.
I'm saying it's David.
This is classical.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
No, I'm saying it's David.
Talk to the presenter, not me.
An engineer. Go to statistics, to Google. We've been requesting, even in opposition, that you delegate an engineer.
But I still want to
Yes, there is a question of aging infrastructure.
Yes.
Around the metro.
Which he says.
Which he says there is a question of aging infrastructure, and it's not rocket science, Vuyo, because if you look at our population, it has increased. And most areas now are becoming densely populated. So under the ANC successive governments in the past, the question of maintenance of aging infrastructure and transformation of it has been an ongoing program, but it is not a one-stop measure whereby you could just single-handedly intervene. That is one. But the question of the water crisis must be located in its proper context. The relevant question here becomes, Vuyo, the question of the desalination plant. And I would want Mayor Panga to respond honestly here, because it was the ANC which championed that thing. It was blocked by them because of their own commercial interests. Like they wanted to bring in that company which was operating in the city of Cape Town because they wanted to fund their own elections campaign.
We're going to get him to respond. We're going to get him to respond. But Ms. Mali, I want to come back to you, because right at the beginning, you took pride in the performance that you're saying the 6 of you who are in council have actually put up, shown the 2 gentlemen you called Oqam, that you could do better given a chance. What have you done around the water crisis? Have you put forward any motions? Have you agitated for any particular solution? What has been your role? Because I can't imagine you were folding your arms throughout. And I'm saying this on the basis of what you claimed right at the beginning, that you were active and you were actually providing solutions, putting ideas out there.
Okay. In all honesty, we wouldn't be folding arms. Then in council, that would mean that we ineffective. Do you understand? However, what I can say is that, as you know, with coalition governments, you'll have parties that align together for a purpose or a specific interest. With the issue of water, it's a very sensitive issue, especially for the Bay. As you mentioned, we've been on day zero. I think for quite a few times we come out a bit and then we fall back in again. And right now we at a dire stage. As the government of the EFF within the Metro, we have had discussions, you understand, where we bring about such issues of the water. However, we are a minority, so our voice isn't as powerful.
Have you put forward any ideas?
Any ideas? Not that I know of, so I can't sit here and say that we have, that I know of specifically, because I deal with facts. So I can't exactly say. However, we do have a plan when it comes to water. We've seen how there's been so many leaks, and it's due to the poor infrastructure. It runs back to, you know, your apartheid days, and even post-apartheid, we haven't seen the ANC doing anything when it comes to the infrastructure. We haven't seen much being done by the DA as well when it comes to actually bringing in, you know, ways in which we can build in pipes where you'll find there's a whole lot of blockages, a lot of water is wasted. We've had reports of people saying that taps are leaking. However, you'll find that the municipality is taking forever to come back. To come back. It's not necessarily being, it's not a scapegoat, but what we're saying is that if you put us, or when you do put us into government, or even give us more seats within the municipality, we'll be able to have a voice within the municipality. We'll be able to deal with the day-to-day things, because we live with the people. We are more in touch with the poor people than any other government. They hardly ever, for instance, the DA, residents or voters, hardly ever have any issues when it comes to water or water leakages, and yet we experience such. You'll find that even with the municipality, reports that come with water, you know, for instance, leaks or water outages or what's the sewage blockages, you'll find that it comes from the poor of the poorest, and that would be because our areas are, how can I say this, densely populated. We've got a lot of people staying in the areas, and the infrastructure needs to actually be, how can I say this, maintained, and it needs to also...
It's exacerbated by them.
How
it's
so?
exacerbated by them, encouraging people. It's exacerbated by them as the EFF, because they are the ones who propel and encourage communities to invade land, sometimes privately owned land, because they are part of a criminal syndicate in this city which invades land.
This allegation is coming from both of them now. That
so it's exacerbated by them. That's why they would not have any motion they would have submitted to resolve the question of the water.
When you are not giving our people, when you are not giving our people sanitation, when you are not giving our people water, what are you saying? How are they blocking when the people of Bayland have to go and actually take number 2, or even go and do their private business in a bush? How are you saying it's blocking the infrastructure? How are you saying that the... No, don't say it's the people that are in formal settlements. We want to formalize those settlements. We want to render service delivery, give them toilets. We also want to sort out such issues that they have never done.
1 second. But I need to understand, I wanted to respond directly to this accusation that both of them now have made, and as you know, I mean, they are not the best of buddies.
The best.
Right. Now, have you been disruptive?
When it comes to the issue of fighting for our people, if voicing out our concerns, if speaking out, if showing that we are not happy is being disruptive, then I don't know what it means to fight for your rights is. And I would like to say, even with the ANC government, in order for them to having attained, to have overthrown the apartheid government, they didn't sit down and laugh and smile. However, they took action. So if it means taking action is being disruptive, then I have a different view of what the DA and the ANC think that being disruptive is. Because what we do is we bring across our point, and when we are not listened to, we make it a point that you listen to us.
What has been your contribution? I mean, you are a member of the coalition. Once upon a time, you had your leader in this part of...
Vuyo, you see, Comrade Ngagula is a political liar.
Yeah. The liar.
Because even the desalination plant is referring to, it is our project.
Yeah.
It was passed by this current government. So he can't claim that it's his. We have advocated as a UTM for a triple P approach. public-private partnership. That's why you have people like Business Chamber coming to rescue us, coming to assist us. We are not running away from the fact that our infrastructure has aged. We are not running away from that. But as a government, we have a responsibility to say...
Ask him who raised the motion in council, in the council meeting. I can give him the date of the council meeting. And the councillor who raised that motion was the UTM councillor and the ANC councillor.
Where is the desalination plant project now?
We, as a government, have interacted with Kuka. I was with Transnet like 2 days back. I'm not theorizing what they're doing. We have approved to have a memorandum of agreement with Kuka. I went there, we have interacted. And I said I support this because we want to make sure when CDC goes internationally, must assure them that they have water. Therefore, we are finalizing that. Do you know who are confused, by the way? It's National Treasury. I've asked them to tell us. They are funding the project, but they are in between. And the Department of Water. Sisulu was here, please. On
So why should it matter where the idea originated if they are pushing it anyway?
You know why it should matter?
He wants to score political points.
All of us as parties in council, we have a context in Nelson Mandela whereby there's no party with a 50+1 majority. So no single party is the absolute political authority in the context of the metro. We are all accountable, one, to our respective constituencies which have voted for us, but outside of that, we've got a fiduciary duty to provide as parties to the residents of Nelson Mandela broadly. So it becomes important that when we come here, as the ANC, we must be able to say that distinctly and independently as the African National Congress, these are the issues which we've raised as the ANC. These are the issues which have proven to be a solution. Like the question of the desalination plant, of course, once it becomes a resolution of council, even though it is raised by us as the ANC, it becomes a position of council. That is why you'd have a deputy mayor now, who, by the way, by implication and design of the metro, is responsible for infrastructure and catalytic projects by their outlook.
Do you know
it is them who are going to meet with the Kukas, the Transnets and what have you.
Was holding
the reality is that it is the ANC.
To say these are
let me come to the question of instability now. Why it's important who does what, Vuyo. And come to the EFF. Let me clarify you now and reveal something to you and the viewers and the residents about the EFF. It is the DA and the EFF who had raised a motion around the wrongful insourcing outside of a due process of security guards. It was raised by the EFF. It was supported by the opportunistic DA because they were in coalition. So that's why I said it's scapegoatism. The EFF is a parasitic party in the context of Nelson Mandela. It does not enter into any formal government, but it will lobby parties to advance its own interests by bargaining with its own 6 votes. As a direct implication of that, when National Treasury withheld the equitable share, part of the things that they had cited is that we are way above as a city the wage bill, and they had a direct contribution to that as the EFF and the DA. Let me clarify you around the role of the UTM.
What did they do?
They raised the motion. That motion, if you go to the documentation of National Treasury, when they withheld, and it was supported there. The minutes of council are there.
This did not happen.
Because this is it was there. It's there. It is there, Vuyo.
But it says the minutes are there.
The minutes are there.
What they've done is that we agreed as council in the first phase to insource 250 security officers. What we did, they will put it in a structure and budgeted for it. The problem with what they've done, which have resulted to a huge wage bill in overtime, they did not budget for it. When they wanted to overthrow Trolley, they agreed with the EFF in a motion to include 900 securities not budgeted for. When I wrote to National Treasury to say they must pay for this amount of money for taking wrong decisions, National Treasury have agreed. 61 of their councillors are going to pay the first 2 million, which council have agreed, for taking wrong decisions. This decision was wrong. ANC people, they called us in centenary war. Some of them, they were saying they're going to kill me because we're disagreeing with irregular decisions. Now, all of them, they're going to pay. This one that is talking about, the first 2 million I've made them to pay, the 61 of the ANC, even these the ones that are going to, they're living. I'm going to attach even their properties to pay because National Treasury is saying, including this irregular expenditure, they're going to pay for it.
Okay, speaking of irregular decisions and things, I'm reminded of the whole drain saga. They were kicked out as is the Democratic Alliance. As soon as that happened, then someone went looking, for funds somewhere, and out of the blue came this project. But perhaps the most tragic part about it is that more than 20 people died, on the back of a decision that was initially presented as something that the Metro needed, but it had tragic consequences. Only a few people got to benefit, and so many people died, which brings me to the issue of corruption. I need to understand, starting with you now, that how, if you were given a chance by the people of this Metro to rule this Metro, how are you going to deal with the issue of corruption and of mismanagement of public funds?
Look, Vuyo, you know that UTM is known as the corruption bastards. We have a track record of busting those that are corrupt. In this institution, when we came in, there was no stability. Officials were doing as they pleased. What we did, Vuyo, we said there must be what is known as consequent management. We made sure that we put someone that will enforce law. We said that all the officials of this municipality must account. We've managed to chase away those that didn't want to account. Some of them are out of the institution, but I won't mention names. We've made sure that there is a consequent management in the institution. The institution now, I'm proud to say that it is normal. There is stability, everyone is working, there is no corruption now as we speak.
Is that true, Ms. Male?
Lies. lies, and he knows it is lies. However, what I'd like to say, I'm not surprised why Ungagula, the ANC, would understand enforcement as a form of, how can I say this, a wrong decision, because they thrive, the ANC, in corruption. You find that with the tendering system, which benefits them, their families, and also in particular, it puts the community or the residents of the Metro at a back foot, because at the end of the day, it would be cheaper for the municipality to have people that actually work for the municipality rather than having to go ahead and outsource to have a tendering system.
But so is that still the case? I thought these two gentlemen were in charge now.
Exactly. No, what I'm saying is it initially started and was brought in by the NC. The DA and the UDM have no problem with that. Hence he's saying there is no corruption within the Metro. And yet we find that within the tendering system, how are there no facts? We've seen that he was talking about intergovernmental. We've just gotten a report in that there's...
we have taken reports to the council. The ANC have kept them for quite a long time. We have taken... No, let me finish.
On the question of corruption, on the question of corruption and consequence management,
yes.
Let me clarify the residents, the viewers, and the community out there around the role of each and every individual party. Not to speak ill of the dead, but we know that it is the UTM's Mungameli Bobani, who was then deputy mayor under the DA-led coalition, who was complicit and engaged in acts of corruption, may his soul rest in peace, but part of the people who were charged or were going to be charged was part of that who were in charge of the IPTS saga. That's the first question for you. The second element on the question of corruption, the UDM, the DA, and the EFF must not make sweeping statements here. Let us be factual, let us be honest. And here are the facts, Vuyo. Now, for instance, currently there was a story ran the day before yesterday by the Mail and Guardian around a sanitation project wherein the executive mayor is alleged to have called officials of the city into a meeting and issued a political instruction around which service providers must be appointed for a contract. It is us as the ANC who on record who have written a correspondence and have even said that, because he he called a press conference.
That's direct. I mean, that's an allegation being leveled at you.
He called a press conference and said that this matter will be subjected to investigation.
Let's get him to respond.
Interestingly,
Let's get him to respond.
Before you respond, what he must respond on is that he called a press conference saying that there will be an investigation. We have since, as the ANC, written to him and his office requesting the outcomes of the investigation, and have further stated that the internal audit of this institution is compromised because it takes political instruction from this current coalition, and this matter must be referred to external law enforcement agencies. Let him respond to that and take residence of this matter with confidence.
You see, the ANC can really lie and turn things around. You know what I've done, Vuyo? Through the agencies of the ANC, by the way, I've investigated a toilet scandal. It's in the ICSIU, it was given to the president. They appointed a company from Bloemfontein and brought it here whilst there was a company. Those people have been investigated. ANC officials in Standard House are identified because they wanted money to buy councillors of the DA. And the SIU was here, it's given me a report. It went to the Hawks now. They're going to be arrested, including councillors of the ANC who have contracts already. Therefore, I've never instructed one single official in the DA. We separate between the administration.
I've been calling a press conference and instructing people to do something that is illegal are two different things.
Where the outcome of the investigation that is publicly pronounced on?
He's a liar. No, it's correct. I called the press conference to say I'm investigating 52 companies who have stolen close to 100 million rand. And I want national forensic audit to speed up the process and make sure that the people who are involved, including these councillors of the ANC, there are more than 6. The SIU came and reported to me who have companies who are fronting that are going to pay, including internal officials. There's been an action. Why is this allegation that they're trying to twist as if I'm involved to a toilet tender? It's because I'm taking action against them, including the officials in supply chain that they were using to bankroll.
But are you denying that for years some investigations were done, as he has been alleging, and you've seen the ANC sat on those reports and nothing happened?
Vuyo, we're denying it. Vuyo, let us be the ones the ANC. Investigations have been done in the city before. With the most recent investigation, which led to the arrest of individuals, it was us again, as the ANC, through the adoption of the turnaround strategy. As a direct consequence of that, agencies such as the Hawks were able to charge individuals. And let me be the first one to say some associated with the African National Congress itself. It was all over national television, and the ANC as an organization has since distanced itself from those particular individuals, that in as much as we believe in the laws of natural justice, that everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but there's a particular recourse and mechanism which is there in the organization called ANC. Those individuals have since stepped aside. So the point then is that the DA must not want to come and claim easy victories here. Wait now, Vuyo, on the question of instability and corruption here, I would want you to post to the UTM, it was under the tenure of Bobani, whereby there was an appointing of and chopping and changing of acting city managers. One of the things that National Treasury consistently cited when they withheld the equitable share under their tenure, and they want to come and claim that they've been deputy mayor under DA-led coalition, they've been executive mayor. When they were ousted, they formed part of all coalitions, so they must not come here and hoodwink the residents of the metro and not want to take responsibility.
He's a liar.
That's all he's
This guy
going to
is
say.
a liar. This guy is a liar.
Were they not
Vuyo,
mayor?
the acting policy of the municipality is very clear. When there is a vacant, all executive directors must be given a chance to act. That is an act of the municipality, the Municipal Structures Act. Am I lying, Leon?
Chief, speak to the president.
Then how are you going to justify that you are giving a chance to one executive director?
They were appointed underqualified individuals.
Man.
They were rebuked by National Treasury, and these are facts. These were things that were
That
reported
didn't start
on
in
by
2016, though, truth be told.
Pardon?
That didn't start in 2016.
How so?
I'm saying the appointment of people who are not qualified, the chopping and changing of people happened long ago. Let me say, I'm speaking now as a ratepayer.
No. It was never outside of a due process, because the reality is that now the social disorder in Nelson Mandela, because you made mention of the question of the drain saga. The question of the drain saga, which immensely contributed to the social disorder in Nelson Mandela, was as a consequence of unprincipled and parasitic smaller parties such as the UDM, such as the EFF, who've got no track record of governance, who do not account to any constituency, because when they leave council chambers...
But you can't absolve the role of certain ANC leaders of the regional leaders of the ANC.
Vuyo, I'm not absolving, because that particular resolution which was resolved on, in principle, the direct implication of that, it was supposed to militate an environment of SMME development, but the problem was around the process of implementation of that. And you would remember, the CFO was not from the ANC in the coalition. The head of economic development was given that direct responsibility was not from the African National Congress itself. So that then is part of the negative implications of what a coalition subjects residents to. So no one must adjudicate responsibility. Hence then it has been the ANC itself, as part of the process of the turnaround strategy, true to principle as an organization, said this thing is wrong, let there be a rescinding of this decision.
No one
and we're
should,
on record and in the media on that position.
You're right. I think no one, in fact none of you should abdicate their responsibilities. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. I'm going to give each one of you 30 seconds to say, what is it that your organization is going to do to fix the problems of this metro, if the people of this metro do indeed give you that outright majority that each and every one of you desperately wants? Your 30 seconds starts.
We are right in track in making sure that all the ANC corrupt tenders that they have done, that those people are going to account and pay back the money of the poor, and they're going to get to prison. We're going to clean the Standard House where they stole the money and used. The Hawks are after them. They are here full time. The SIU is here. Therefore, the truth is going to come. The time for painting and lying about people, it's over. Whether I'm a mayor or not, the reports are final. The time for the ANC to account is come.
For stability in Nelson Mandela, for service delivery, for a clean city, for a safer city, our people must go out in their numbers and vote for the African National Congress. We have been humbled as an organization. We have realized where we have erred. We have come to a process of correcting ourselves. So it is the ANC which can stabilize this city. It is the ANC which can deliver services. A manifestation of the collapse of this city is a typical example of even the executive mayor. There are no lights, there are no robots. That's why we can't even provide an account around his own accident.
We commit to eradicating unemployment. We commit to providing services to the people. We commit to actually giving you honest, we also committing to giving you honest, accountable leadership, and we are saying to you that you can trust us. We are here, we've fought for you, we will continue to fight for the black marginalized people, so we are saying entrust us with the vote.
Vuyo, we are urging all residents of Nelson Mandela Bay on the 1st of November to go out in numbers and vote for the UTM for the betterment of their future. Let them vote UTM. Let us all fight corruption. Let us all eradicate crime, poverty in this city. Let us all take away ANC from power, because we are in this mess because of the ANC. Now it's your time, fellow Nelson Mandela, to vote the right party, which is the UTM. Thank you
very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to all of you for agreeing to come through and have this lively conversation. And that's our debate for this Monday. Next week, we're talking about the battle for the city of Cape Town. Do join us even then. But of course, the Watchdog continues tomorrow, 8 o'clock sharp.